How to use a crisis and uncertainty to make money. So today we're with Robert Kyosaki, and we had dinner the other night, and we were talking about Paris 2024. We just got back. We were talking about there's a lot of uncertainty right now. People are freaking out. There's a lot of polarization, obviously politically, and we got the election coming up. It's not very long, but with all this disruption, there's lots of opportunity, right? Yeah. What would you say, Robert? Because we've got a lot of people asking, how do I make money during this crisis?
Well, that's a big question, and I agree. There's more opportunity now than ever before.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at this little thing here. How much power did this give the entrepreneur?
A lot.
We can call the world. When I first started out, I had to take a plane flight from Hawaii to New York City to sit in a hotel to wait to get 4 minutes to be on CNBC or something. That was a whole day, thousands of dollars. Now you're in and out.
Yep.
And there's podcasting all over the world like we're doing. So it's a matter of people don't think like entrepreneurs. That's their problem. So there's more opportunity today. But also they think too small. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I want to plug our friend's book, Blair Singer. Blair wrote a book called Sales Dogs.
Yeah.
And in the business of business, there's big dogs, like Trump is definitely a big dog in the world there. And then there's a poodle, like...
Yes.
They got the nice Ferrari, nice cars. But there's also the Chihuahua. And the Chihuahua is like a person who I could never stand. They're like the little nerdy guy, generally guys. They knew all the facts and figures. So the Fed said the number's going to, and the number's going down. But those are the same SOBs when I was in high school. I'm playing football, getting our asses kicked, out there sweating every day. And these little Chihuahuas, they said, well, did you know that we only made 3 yards on that play? I'm going, the fuck? Where the fuck? Do you know what I mean? The little Chihuahuas of life. And so when I was coming over here, what I'm going to talk about is, when I look at YouTube, it's filled with Chihuahuas.
It is.
They don't practice what the Chihuahua about. They know the facts and figures. Like, holy mackerel. And there's big dogs.
Yes.
Who I do listen to, like Records. He's a fucking great guy.
Thanks for his book, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
He's got a new book coming out. That's why, we're leaving in 2 hours to fly to Dallas for Limitless.
Right.
And the whole point of that is to pack it with big dogs.
Yeah.
Pack it with people that are doing real things, right? They're not just trying to sell you trinkets.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. Like, it's funny. What I always tell people, I go, just look, solve the problem. If you could just solve the problem for other people, like whatever that might be. So one thing that in my world, the problem is going to be inflation, cost of land, cost to build. The government makes it really hard to build, and nobody wants it. It's called NIMBY, not in my backyard. So those 4 things, for example, make it really difficult to bring supply on, period. You can bitch all you want, but that's the fact. And so without supply of housing, the cost goes up. Like, I was like, okay, so that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity right now based on the system that we're in. Now, obviously, hopefully we get some lower interest rates coming. But I went back and looked, Robert, in 2021, we've been talking about investing in hard assets forever, right? Like, everybody's like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Well, just invest in hard assets. Or you can give your money to the wealth manager and let them, put it in ETFs and 401ks and mutual funds and all that. But I went back just 3 years ago in 2021, the price of a home was about $350,000. Now it's $450,000. Gold was $1,800. Now it's $2,500. Silver was $25. Now it's $30. Oil was $71. Now it's $81. And of course, it's been over $100. So now I know that those things can go up and down, but the reality is that they're all up, right? And, even if you look at these even small moves in silver from, $25 to $30 on a percentage basis, that's a lot. So these are all hard assets that are moving with the printing machine that we've just got done with from the pandemic and all these stimmy checks, right?
Right.
Did you have anything to add on that, you think?
Well, I'm going to be at the Limitless, and it's a picture. Let's start with a picture of you and me, and it says "size matters," you know? And of course, there's many meanings for that word. But when I met Kenny, the reason I partnered immediately with him is because Kenny thinks bigger than I do. And you see, a lot of times when we talk about Chihuahuas, a lot of people hang out with Chihuahua. I won't mention their names because they think I'm their friend, you know. But they sit there. Beep, 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 beep. That's good on YouTube, you know. But how much have they got? Nothing.
Yeah.
And so Kenny, when I met you, I said, man, you kept thinking bigger and bigger and bigger. So naturally, I want to hang out with you.
You remember that small apartment project you guys had in La Loma? What was it, 20 units or something?
18.
18, yeah.
But, you know, that's size matters. But size is what you think. Big is what small is. And be careful who you take advice from. Most of these so-called experts are Chihuahuas. The kid, the boy or girl in school who knew all the facts and figures. Or like I still remember, I said, coming off the football field, I'm getting my asses kicked in high school football. This guy says, well, you lost 3 yards on that play. You know what I mean? They're not in the fucking game.
They were the A students.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? They were the commentators, and don't listen to commentators. Listen to the players.
Yeah. Well, so this week we have an incredible opportunity to do a live on YouTube with RFK Jr.
What a stud he is. Huh?
Wow. Yeah, like it's interesting because when we started going after him to have him talk, obviously I follow him. I follow everyone. I follow Biden. I follow Trump. I follow him. I follow all these folks. And I wanted to have him on for all his positions, you know, provision on the environment, on the food, on the vaccines. And I just wanted to hear from him and see what he had to say. I had no idea that it would take the turn that it's taken, right? That he basically left the Democratic Party and moved over to support Trump.
That's huge.
That was huge, yeah. And it's interesting. So we're going to be one of the first people to interview him this week. Yeah. What are you going to ask him?
Kind of an autograph?
Yeah.
No, I have, you know, Kennedys were my heroes at the time. And so I remember John Kennedy, and then Bobby Kennedy, his father getting shot. So I have their books, the father's books. So I'm going to ask, as Chihuahua as I get, I'm going to ask Bobby Kennedy Jr., can you autograph my book? But that man is a monster. I mean, in a good way. He takes on the pharmaceuticals.
No kidding.
He took on Fauci.
Yep.
And I was talking to Sandra, my assistant, this morning, and I remember being in Hawaii, and I refused to get vaxxed. And my classmates, my classmates from Hawaii, they, well, we can't hang out with you anymore. I was going, why not? He says, because you're killing people. I said, I'm not getting vaccinated. How am I killing? You're killing people.
Wow. How long ago was this?
During the pandemic.
Okay.
They're attacking me. I'm going, hey, it's a free country. I don't trust that vax. Oh, no. You're a murderer. You're a murderer. These guys went to Stanford, Harvard, Yale, Berkeley. But they're all so brainwashed into following the rules. They're good friends of mine. I said, I'm just not getting vaxxed. That's all I said. But if I don't follow their rules, I'm killing people. So that's what I'm saying today. So you got to be very careful, politically especially. The person we're going to be with in Dallas, Karen, she got attacked by her friends because she didn't like Kamala. She says, but I just don't like her. Whew. I mean, if you don't agree with somebody now, they'll attack you. And, you know, I don't like Kamala either, but so what? It's a free country.
Yeah, I read his book, American Values, and it's
Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, what a great book that is. I would highly recommend you guys buy that. It just walks you through the whole process, starting with Joe Kennedy, his grandfather, and what they stood for. It was a different Democratic Party that back then. It was very different. They were for people. They were for labor. They were for unions. They were fighting against corporatism, I guess, and that's what he's fighting for now. So it's going to be an interesting discussion. I didn't realize how heavy he was on the environmental side, right? He's an environmental attorney and obviously known for cleaning up the Hudson River, and now he's jumped into the vaccine stuff. I watched an interview with him. It said that he's fully up to date on his vaccines personally.
Yeah.
He just didn't agree with that one.
Yeah.
That was it. Like he just was like, this one kind of got rushed. I just don't agree that I should be taking it right now. It's an interesting position he's taken. That's when I started really following him, because you're stepping on Superman's cape, right?
Yep.
At this point.
Well, when he took on Fauci in his book, I'm going, wow. He went against pharmaceuticals, and that's the big dog.
Yeah, and I don't know, I got to do some research on this, but he said that the pharmaceutical companies are funding 75% of the FDA.
Is that right?
That's what he says. Yeah, that's what he said in an interview. So I'm going to ask him that question. I just want to get a little bit more into it, talk about a conflict of interest.
I think we should go into something else. Kenny and I went 25, 30 years, we've been friends now.
Yeah.
And we study. Kenny studies, I study, we share books together. I brought records in his book, GPT, generated, programmed, transformers, GPT, AI. Everybody's talking about, NVIDIA and all this, but nobody studies it. And what Record said in his book, it's not out yet, but that's when you know you have good friends. When a big dog like Record sends us copies, he sent you a copy of his book, and he says, you think we have problems now?
Yeah.
This AI GPT is going to bring down the world. It's going to crash us. But most people are so fat, stupid, and dumb, but they don't study. And we all know people like that.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I loved his, what he said was make America healthy again, I thought that was interesting. That RFK Jr.
Oh, RFK
said that in Arizona here, and I thought it's interesting because he's approaching it from a physical standpoint, food and environment. You and I have done it from a financial standpoint. We believe that people should be financially free back in the old days. And Wall Street's taken over that. Certainly, the censor, things are censored now, and spiritually too. Religious freedom is under attack. So, it's going to be an interesting conversation. It's going to be an interesting conference. For those of you guys want to watch, we're going to Limitless. It starts Thursday in Dallas. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Just use the Ken code 10 for 10% if you guys are interested. It's limitlessexpo.com. So we'll be there. There'll be 50 other speakers and 3 stages. And we do this every year. And if you guys are confused, please join us because we're all confused. We're just trying to figure this out together.
Well, the most important thing is you come to meet people like you. Like our Karen is going with us. She just gets attacked because she doesn't like Kamala. But why can't you dislike somebody?
Yeah.
Trump's my good friend.
Right.
Does he say all the most intelligent things? No.
No.
Kenny and I hunt with the 2 Trump boys.
Yeah.
John Jr. and Eric, the great kids. But today we're so on edge. And I think the key is who do you spend time with now? So that with Limitless and what we're going to, I go to meet other people like us. I don't want to hang out with somebody who knows all the answers. I don't know all the answers. Kenny doesn't know answers. But we study. We study. In my own company, I get attacked for study. You read too much. I'm going, okay. We don't want to read what you read. Okay.
Yeah. I know one of the things we have this year, which you'll love, is we have a Limitless bookstore. And we have it because every single person, like, I'm like, I don't know about you, but I've got 6 or 8 books sitting on this next to my bed. I'm sure a lot of you guys are readers. Also, there's a lot of authors. There's a lot of people coming to speak that are authors, and there's hundreds of books just with the people that are speaking there. And so not only are we reading, but we're writing and we're producing and we're learning. And I think that
and we hang out with people who also do the same thing.
And in times of disruption and in times of uncertainty and in times of crisis, that's what you turn to. You turn to people that are actually trying to learn.
Well, a big question is, what is a leader? You know, that's a very, people, I'm a leader. But are you a thought leader? Are you into the future with thought? Like I studied Buckminster Fuller. He was a thought leader. And so the reason I'm a rich man today is because I studied Fuller back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. You know, I don't save dollars. I save gold and silver. I have Bitcoin. I just don't trust the U.S. dollar. But when I talk to somebody who says, oh, you have to save money, I'm going, like, people think I hate Dave Ramsey. I don't hate Dave Ramsey, you know. Dave's a smart guy. But he says get out of debt. Kenny, how much debt do you have?
A lot. Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, and so Dave Ramsey's entirely his point of view. Live debt-free. Hell, money is debt. If you studied money, the dollar became debt in 1970, 71 when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. Today, I mean, I'm going to open you and I will be at Limitless. It's a picture of you and I on stage at the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, most people will never ring the bell at the stock exchange.
Took a gold mine public.
Took public.
Yeah.
And these guys are talking, oh, I got gold stackers, I'm a silver stacker. I'm going, the little chihuahuas are out there. And Kenny and I are standing on the floor, on the top of the New York Stock Exchange, ringing the bell, taking a company public. So when I talk to these guys who are the chihuahuas, I go, well, how many companies have you taken public? It's not even in their thinking because it's too big. So that's our subject. My subject is size matters. You think so small, then you listen to all the other not that the chihuahuas don't have a case. They want the facts. I just call them, what's this? The GDP, and then Powell said this, and then Yellen said this, and then, okay, good. But you still got to go to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And they get stuck in the small picture.
Plus, at the same token, at the same time, Grunch is happening. And could you explain Grunch? Because this was a book that, first of all, that book is really hard to read.
Oh, geez.
Oh, my gosh.
That's Buckminster Fuller's Grunch of Giants, Gross Universal Cash Heist.
So that's what's happening right now.
Oh, it's been happening for a long time.
And so that's actually what Limitless is for. That's what we're going to talk to Bobby Kennedy Jr. about. This Gross Universal Cash Heist is actually written by Fuller, what, in the 70s, 80s?
It was his last book, 74 it came out, I think.
Yeah, and so this is something that he was a futurist. This is something that he predicted, and it's happening, right?
And we're rich men because of it.
Yeah.
We're rich people.
And that's kind of the point. In a crisis or there's uncertainty, there are opportunities. You just got to pay attention. You got to stay big picture and kind of look at what's happening.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But what are a couple of things that Fuller predicted in that book?
Well, in the Grunch was that it's really obvious when you print money, the rich get richer, but the poor middle class get poorer. Because when you print money, what happens is that assets increase in price.
Right.
But so does food and chicken and vegetables increase in price. So when you print money, we get richer. Like Maselli is going to be there talking about oil.
Yeah, oil and gas, yep.
Yeah. And I'm an oil man. I went to school. My college degree is in oil, of all things, oil tankers. And so I own oil wells. I don't oil stock. You know, what's the price of Exxon? I have no idea. Call it Chihuahua. You know, how many oil wells? They don't own oil wells. They own oil stock. They think too effing small.
Yeah, well, the people turn their money over to a wealth manager. I mean, we've got Chris Martinson talking about timber and water. We got Mike Maloney and Daniel Samuelson coming on the gold side. We got Mike Maselli talking about oil and gas. And this is not a real estate conference. This is a conference that people really do. And so this is kind of the point.
So what I did was I own an EV. Oh, is an EV good or bad? I said, I don't care. I like it. You know, I'm an oil guy, but I want an EV. But I also own a lithium field. So I own about $5 billion worth of lithium. What's lithium? The average Chihuahua out there doesn't know what lithium is. And the other thing, too, is how much forest do I own? Lots.
Yeah,
But I do it from a bigger picture. So that's what I'll be talking about. You can own whole forests.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and you
what
can
Chris
own
is.
lithium.
Yep. I know you do that. Kim does
All the
that.
time.
I know Chris Martinson does that. This is what people consume, guys. Like this is just think about that. Yeah, this is why people are gobbling up farms. You know, food, water, timber, hard assets. You know, primary wealth is from the ground. You know, real gold, real.
That's a good saying. Primary wealth from the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and you know that's where it's all rooted from. The next level up is.
But people are right now. Some people listening. Well, you guys are rich. That's how you can afford that.
No.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's their minds are so small. They're not saying, well, maybe I should go to Limitless.
Yeah.
Maybe I should open my mind up.
Yeah. It really has mostly to do with, you know, where do you want to, you know, do you want to just put your money with a wealth manager and hope that it goes up? Like, that's the strategy of most people. And
I'm going to hold up the Communist Manifesto written by Karl Marx. Every school teacher should read the Communist Manifesto because teachers are communists. They go, how can you say that? I said, do you believe in taxation? Yeah. I said, what Marx says, taxes are essential for the spread of communism. Are you a member of a labor union? Yes, I belong to the NEA, National Education. That's what Marx said. Workers of the world unite. These people are Marxists, and they're teaching our kids.
Yep.
Have they read the Communist Manifesto? No.
And now they're coming after private property.
The abolition of private property.
The abolition of private property is what.
That's rule number one of communism.
That is number one, and that's happening. You know, we're starting.
If you're listening to a school teacher, you're listening to a communist. That's the most important thing I can say to you. My poor dad was a communist. He didn't know it. He ran the teachers' unions. You know, he didn't like rich people. He believed that the rich didn't pay enough taxes. So what is the first thing that Biden does? He hires 88,000 new tax people to collect our taxes. I mean, Biden and Kamala, I'm not saying they're communists, but they are by their actions. Just watch what a person does, not what they say. First job that Biden did, he took down the Keystone XL pipeline. I was selling oil for $30 a barrel in 2000 when Biden came to office. Under Trump, I was selling for $30. Under Biden, I'm selling for $130 immediately. I knew exactly what Biden and Kamala were doing. They're going to bust the middle class because they need poor people immediately. So by raising inflation, and then they blame the rich for it, you crush the middle class.
Yeah, I was. You know, one of the things that I was confused as to why RFK Jr. and Trump aligned, and one of them was getting out of this what he calls a never-ending war. You know, and I know you were in Vietnam, and Vietnam created inflation, right? Like war is profitable.
Well, what people don't understand is when it was in 71, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. We were still in Vietnam. 72, I was flying in Vietnam as a Marine pilot. Immediately, I knew what was going to happen. By taking the dollar off the gold standard, it made war cheap. You could afford to start wars all over the world. As long as war, the dollar was backed by gold, war was expensive. But by backing it with debt, which Nixon did in 71, war became cheap. So they could pay for these great weapons and all this. You know, look at Biden's never said what happened in Afghanistan. How come they abandoned it? How come they left, $90 billion to Al-Qaeda? I mean, these guys, I'm not a Republican or Democrat. Trump is my friend. But watch what a person does. You know, if you lie enough times, you become a Democrat.
Well, one thing is for sure, American is sick physically, spiritually, financially, and you know, Limitless is just one way to, you know, try to get ahead of the, you know, get ahead of the system that you're in.
I've been tweeting, Xing away on saying I'll be at Limitless, come visit me and all this. So I go to the sushi bar, and there's this guy, he's the greatest sushi guy now. And he says, I would give anything. He says, you know, he's cutting his little sashimi up and making little sushi. He says, I have to work.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
That is, yeah, I know.
He would love to be there.
I know. We have to figure that out because it should be free. Like, you know, we have to.
No, it's not that. He doesn't have the time.
No, I know, but I'm saying you can. You know, we need to blast out these messages for people after.
Well, we do it with.
Yeah.
We do it with these podcasts. And
yeah.
The trouble is, this guy doesn't know why he's not free. He works 7 days a week, chopping raw fish.
Yeah.
He's good at it. It's good stuff. But he says, I can't get ahead.
Yeah. That's it. That's actually where everybody is, and everybody's frustrated. They're uncertain. There's a bit of a crisis. They have anxiety, and it's not good. You know, we need a change.
Just let me just say one more time, okay? Energy drives civilization. I went to the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. My background was oil tankers. My first job was oil tankers for Standard Oil. I used to work on 555 Market Street, San Francisco. Now you can't go down there because you get murdered there. San Francisco is the most beautiful city on earth. You can't go there anymore because these liberals have taken over and there's wokeness and all that. You can't arrest people anymore, and we're coming apart.
We are.
We're coming apart. But I'll say it again. So the first thing that Biden did was he cut the Keystone Pipeline in 22. It was his first act. I knew exactly what he's going to do. Oil was selling for $30 a barrel. It went to $130 immediately. Inflation went through the roof, and then they start printing money to cover inflation. We're finished. And that poor guy cutting sashimi, I can't get away from my job. See, that's how it shows up.
It does. Well, it's showing up, right? And
Yeah.
people are pissed, as they should be. So, well, we got a flight to catch. Any last words? Any words of wisdom?
Well, think bigger. And the biggest, most powerful words that poor people say, I can't afford it. I can't afford the time. I can't afford the money. When you say I can't afford it, I'm not really religious, but it goes, and the word becomes flesh and dwelt amongst us. Every time you say I can't afford it or I can't, you're poor.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.